Welcome. Today we're going to do a few things to stretch and strengthen the back and to work on a bit of core strengthening. We'll be working down on the floor today in table on our hands and knees. If that doesn't work for you, you can put your hands on the seat of a chair. So align your feet under your hips and you can do most of the work that we do in that position, modifying the table. So we'll start by standing up and getting moving. And as you're getting situated, I want to remind you to always work within your level of comfort and maintain an even breath as you go. So go ahead and stand up and then step back so you have some space in front of you in which to work. Stand with your feet hip-width apart, parallel. Stand up nice and tall. Get your head, your neck, your trunk aligned. So coming into Tadasana alignment. Soften your knees. And then as you inhale, reach your arms out to the side and up. Stretch up and then look up into the space between your hands. And push your hips forward a bit to open up through the front of the body. Get a bit of a stretch and an extension through the spine, holding in a place where you can maintain your breath. And then bring your gaze forward. Bend your knees, fold down. Reach your arms out to the side, bending the knees enough to get your hands to the floor. And then walk your hands forward, putting weight into the arms, and then bring your knees down. And then create a neutral alignment with the knees hip-width apart, and then anchor your hands so your hands are just ahead of the shoulders. You want the heels of the hands right at the front of the shoulders, so you have a bit more space between the hands and the knees so you can extend your spine. And then create a neutral alignment. Head, neck, and trunk are aligned. A little bit of activation into the abdomen to create that extension. And then we'll work with the breath and move the spine. So as you exhale, contract, round your spine. Tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone. Inhale and arch your spine. Lift your head, lift your tailbone. Think of initiating the movement from the activation in the abdomen and then the softening, the release, the expansion of the abdomen. Exhale, contract, rounding, tucking your chin, your tailbone. Inhaling, arching. So essentially working in and out of cat-cow. But we want to really hone in on that initiation of the movement with the breath and the activation in the abdomen. And then come back to neutral. And now move your knees a little bit closer together, hands just a little bit closer together. And then stretch your right leg back so your toes are touching the floor and reach your left hand forward so your fingertips touch. Now you can move from here, work from this starting point, or if it's accessible, reach your arm up and lift your leg up. And then as you exhale, bend your knee and elbow towards each other and then extend and work through that a few repetitions. Exhale, contract. Inhale, extend. Everything is activating here. We're strengthening and stretching. We're working on balance. Keep moving with the breath. Exhale, draw in. Inhale, extend. One more time. And then release. Place your hand down, your knee down, and then sit back into child's pose, settling the hips down. Let your arms rest. Let your head rest. Coming off of the hands for a few moments. Relax here. Breathe evenly. And then reach your arms forward, extend out, and as you inhale, lift up into table. And then make sure the knees are a little closer, the hands are a bit closer, and then we'll switch to the other side. So extend your left leg back, toes down. Reach your right hand forward, fingertips down. So you start here to see how you feel. And if you want, you can work from this starting point, or lift your arm and lift your leg. And then from here, as you exhale, draw your elbow towards your knee, and then inhale, extend. Exhale. Inhale, extend. So we're doing 4 or 5 repetitions, strengthening the core, the back, the arms, the legs. All right, one more time, and then extend and release down. Now step your knees and hands a bit wider apart. Sit back in a child's pose once again. Let your arms rest, let your head rest. Stay here for a couple of breaths. This is Balasana or child's pose. It is a resting pose. And then reach your arms forward, and as you inhale, lift up. And keep the knees in this just a little bit of a wider distance. Shift your torso side to side. Put your weight into your right arm and leg, and then into your left arm and leg. So you're getting a shift in your torso from side to side. Shoulders and hips move. And then move to one side and move your hips back and rotate around in a circle. So we're pivoting over the hands and the knees, and move in a way that feels good to you. So you're moving and shifting the hips forward and then back. It can be a big circle or a smaller circle, whatever you'd like to do. Maintain a nice even breath and be mindful that you're working within your capacity, okay? And then move in the opposite direction. And tuck your chin or shift your gaze forward, getting a bit of movement through the neck as you move through the torso. And then come back to the center. And bring your knees a bit closer together so you can push yourself up to kneeling, and then we'll come up to stand. So go ahead and stand up and come up to a little bit of a wide stance. So feet a bit wider than hip width apart, toes slightly turned out. Find a focal point to look at in front of you and soften your knees. Then shift your weight side to side and work your way into a gentle standing twist. Just getting some movement through the legs, soften the knees, let the heel lift up on the leg you're turning away from. Let your arms swing gently. And then come back to the center and bring your feet right underneath you. Coming into Tadasana, feet hip width apart parallel, stand up tall, get your head, your neck, your trunk aligned. Soften your knees a little bit, and then place your hands on your abdomen. Close your eyes or bring your gaze down. And just take a moment here to connect to how you're feeling after that movement. You may notice that you feel a bit more invigorated. You've done a lot of work to activate into the abdomen, the core space of the body, and that's really energizing. You're maybe a little bit warmer. You may just get a sense of awareness of your whole body. You're observing without any real expectation. Just notice how you feel. And soften the way you may be holding yourself. Soften your abdomen. Feeling your abdomen moving under your hands as you breathe. You can stay here observing your body settling, your breath flowing as long as you'd like. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes and relax. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Namaste.